All right, we're live. We are on the air. How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Hey.
This is our weekly check-in. See how everybody's doing, or as Joey might say, how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? Yeah. My daughter just came running down the stairs so excited because her gels for her lights came for her
Cool.
graduation present. I got her a light package and background,
cool.
like backdrop and everything
cool.
for graduation because she wants to be a photographer. So, you know.
Nice.
So
I could
she's
totally
so
see Sammy
excited.
doing
So if
that.
anybody needs pictures for anything,
I think new headshots.
There you go.
You need new headshots? There you go. Perfect.
Well, the last time I submitted a photo
We all
for
do.
FanX, I got criticized.
Yeah,
because you look like a murderer. You look like a guy who was going to kill
You
people.
look like whoever just took your picture, you killed them right after they took it.
Still not as bad as my passport photo.
Oh, Colin says
passport
that
photo's
lighting
scary.
kit looks epic. Well done, Val. Thank you. I'm
Hi,
trying to.
Colin.
So this is I feel like a little bit of not as amazing parent. My parents for my graduation present paid for me to go to USC film school.
Wow. Wow.
Because I wanted to be a filmmaker, and they had a summer program. And so I left 3 days after graduation and went to USC summer film program that they only took like 150 people from around the world. I was the youngest person at the time. I still had braces on.
Wow.
And my parents said, we'll get you a car. There was this used car that I wanted, or it's the same amount as going to the summer program. And they're like, I said, film school, which is good because I wreck every car that I own. So film school was way better, but she wants to be a photographer. So I think it's kind of the same thing. I'm giving her the tools to do her craft.
Absolutely.
To do what she wants to do. I think that's great.
Fantastic.
She just
Oh
said,
my
yeah, I
gosh.
ran down here excited about plastic. I said, that's what nerds do.
That's
Yeah,
right, Sammy. Welcome
totally.
aboard.
Yeah, like that's part. Well, and yeah, whatever it is, if it's part of your craft and what you enjoy doing and what you like to do, then it's exciting. Even if it is
This
just
is
pieces
my
of
life
plastic.
now, though. We're all weirdos in like very different ways, right? But last night I'm sitting here watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel again because it gives me life. It makes me happy. I want to be her. And it's all dark and I'm just laying on my couch watching it. And Sammy comes down and she's got like string glued to her face. And she's like, Mom, I need you to tie this string to my fingertips. I didn't ask any questions. I just did it.
And that's, what you don't want to judge anybody, right? Like, oh, she's obviously doing something.
She's creative. She's being creative. And I'm just happy that, she's doing that instead of all these other things. But yeah, so she's got it glued and it's really long and I tie him to all of her fingers and she walks away looking like a puppet. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh my gosh.
That
awesome. Is hilariously awesome.
So was there
So that's what she did with her new lighting kit in her room that I got for her.
Good job, Sammy.
See, she's already putting them.
We're weirdos and we love it. My shirt even says weirdo today.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Mine doesn't. It just anyway.
I mean, it kind of does.
Yeah, it does in another way. That's true. That's true.
Hey, Josh. How's it going? How you doing?
How you doing?
What's new?
How you doing? Josh,
have you caught up? Josh, have you caught up on all the Disney Plus? Oh, what's the new show I just started about all the props? Prop
culture.
Yeah,
prop culture.
Prop culture.
Yep.
We're going to cover that in 2 weeks on the other show. But Josh, I know you're totally into the Disney stuff. Have you covered the prop culture? Have you finished it?
I started that last night.
Yeah, we binged through them pretty quick. They were all pretty interesting. I love that they went to Danny Elfman's house on The Nightmare Before Christmas. But what was sad was we didn't really get to see how weird his house is because that guy collects really weird stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
he's got
creepy baby dolls and
he's got a human hand in a glass case and
yeah, Yeah, which is totally normal, right? I mean, when you're rich and eccentric, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
To have a
absolutely.
human hand in a case, that's
He's
totally
a genius, so it's part of the deal.
yeah.
That's
He
cool.
is a genius. I love Danny Elfman. That guy is incredible, and
So
weird
good.
or not, he's just really, really good.
Sammy just told me that the kid from Drake and Josh, what's his name? Drake Bell, has
Yeah.
an entire room in his house that is Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's
Now
cool.
cool.
We
Yeah.
need to call
That's
out
very
John
cool.
Smith. Why doesn't John Smith have
Come on,
that
John.
in his
What
house?
the heck?
We need to have John Smith on the show.
I would love that. That would
Hey,
be fun.
Tyler.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah,
Tyler's
we'll ask
probably
John
going to
Smith
be
what
jealous
movie
of
he
the
wants to
whole room.
cover, and we'll have John on the show.
I'm not an Animal Crossing player, but there was
Okay.
somebody who did their entire house. I guess you have a house, but they made it completely Haunted Mansion themed, like the wallpaper and pictures and all in this little handheld video game. It was crazy.
That's cool. I've heard the name Animal Crossing. I understand that it's a video game of sorts, but I've never even looked at it, so I don't know.
Yeah. I asked my brother to explain to me like what the appeal of it was, and he's like, because you can basically just kind of relax and do whatever you want. If you want to go fishing, you can go fishing. If you want to build your house, you build your house. Like, it just sounds like it's just really relaxing for people who are really into it.
That's what I've heard. Plus, there's a social aspect to it.
Yeah, I do want to point this out. Josh mentioned on Prop Culture when they do Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he goes and interviews Rick Moranis, and that was really, really cool.
I love
to see
Rick
Rick Moranis. He's one of my Hollywood heroes, to be honest. Like stepping away from the limelight, because he was a big deal when he stepped away as a character actor. There was nobody better, and to do that and go and say, "I'm going to raise my family right now, and that's where I'm going to focus." That's cool.
He's coming back. He's going to do something. I read, and I don't remember what.
I heard the new Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay, is that what it is?
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's
They're
true.
trying to bring back as many of the cast as they can that aren't dead.
Right.
Tyler says, I need the Elfman hookup. I got you.
His Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram is the place. He just did a cover. Is Twitter better? Instagram, you're going to see a lot of the pictures of what he's got around his house. And he just did a video on Instagram like a week or two ago where he did all the parts for an old song running on a treadmill from Oingo Boingo days. And it's a really good version of the song. And it's really cool. And it's
I think he meant like the hookup as in he wants to meet him. I think that's the kind of hookup he means.
Hello, yes. It would be amazing.
Well, I wish I had that kind of hookup to help you out with, Tyler, because I would love to meet the guy as well.
I can't wait.
The big redhead.
Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1,
camera 2.
two.
Camera 2. I remember that. Wayne's World.
Wayne's World
is one of my favorites.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry.
So I've decided.
Good.
We're together.
That is like
so you guys, I think I've decided something.
Yeah, what's that?
I think I've decided what I am going to dress up as for band night tonight. Do you guys want to see?
Totally.
Yes.
Here we go.
Do an 80s chick? 80s.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
I feel I have those glasses. I'm sure I have some kind of black jacket thing. My hair is kind of like I can make it kind of look like that. So I'm thinking David Bowie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Perfect. That would be awesome. We're going to need to see pictures later.
Oh, hello. Who takes pictures of everything?
She's got a professional photographer with her now.
That's right. Lighting kit and all.
She just follows me around now.
That's awesome.
Well, so I watched the not movie related, but I watched the Jerry Seinfeld new stand-up on Netflix last night. He's 65 years old.
Worst thing your face was the worst. That was my favorite. Your face was the worst news I got today. Send it in an email. You gotta watch it. It's so good.
It's very good. He's 65, like you mentioned, Tracy, which is unbelievable to think he's that.
He does not look 65.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger. But I also think 65 is not as old as it used to be as well.
Yeah,
So
especially now that I'm 45.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, as you get closer to that age, it's like, well, that's not that old.
That's not
only
that
a few
old.
years away. Like it's more than a few years for all of us. But I think there's one point where it's like all of our lives suck. Mine less than yours, but you know, he was
My life
very
sucks
good.
too. Maybe less.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good pick me up last night.
Yeah, it's a good, if you haven't checked it out, you definitely need to check it out on Netflix. Yeah, I watched it a couple days ago and it was so funny, but I loved that line because one of my favorite movie quotes is "Your face hurts my feelings." And then that one, like, "Your face is the worst news I got today," because he's talking about social distancing and we're so used to texting everyone since we got to text that when somebody comes up and their face is like all up here and you're like,
yeah,
text me, send it in an email.
Well, it was
I love the thing too about shortening the text. TY. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I love.
I know I have to go to Sammy sometimes, and I'm like, "What does this mean? I don't know what this means."
And the whole premise of we spend all day every day just looking for time to kill. We're just trying to kill the time until the next big thing, and that's what it's all about, right? And that's where the name comes, 23 hours to kill. I think that's even more applicable right now than any other time because I feel like that's a big part of. We're just trying to kill time.
I loved when he was like, "You want to go out," and then once you get out, then you're like, "I want to go back."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I remember out. I remember out.
What is out? Going out. Oh,
those were good times."
So I do have some. Speaking of going out, I have some good movie news.
Okay.
I started receiving screeners again from movies because now that the Academy has changed the fact that movies don't have to be in theaters, Amazon and Netflix are now sending screeners to critics again. So we get the links and we can watch them. And which means that I can probably get you guys the link and then you guys can watch them. And then maybe if there's a good one, we'll talk about it.
All right. That sounds good.
We'll see.
Sounds awesome.
If they're good, then I'll try and pass it along. If they're not so good, we'll see.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Oh no. I'm switching back and forth between comments and other things here. Let's see.
Tyler's made me laugh.
Not yet, Tyler. I mean, kind of. Only for essentials.
Mask
and wear a mask.
Distance.
Yeah.
Yes, please wear a mask. So many people aren't wearing masks. Please wear a mask. The state will send you a free one.
Yeah.
Please, please, please.
Yeah, they've got up to 2 million that they can send out for free. Like, really, just get a mask. It's fine. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's not fun.
Okay. So speaking of that, I saw a meme today, Val, and it said, "Wearing a mask is like wearing a bra. You only do it when you're in public. It's not comfortable. You can't wait to take it off. But if you're not wearing one, everybody knows."
Do they?
Yeah. It was a meme. I thought it was funny. I'm not an expert.
That's about like 90% accurate for 80% of the population.
Is that like 50% of the time it works every time? Is that the same kind of statistic?
I don't know if we've talked about this before. It seems familiar, but have you noticed that all three of us have really large foreheads?
We haven't talked about that.
We're four-finger forehead club. Go ahead, do it, Jake.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could go all the way back.
Silly. Anybody who's like picking up the stream right now, we just look silly. But I love every minute of it. I've never noticed we have large foreheads until like this moment, and now I'll never not notice it. Thank you.
Another thing I'm going to think about now.
The thing is that it's not just you that has one. Our whole show, we're four-finger forehead show.
I'm going to add it to my list. I've got a four-finger forehead, squinty eyes, and a weight problem. So just more things to be self-conscious about.
We could stick a flamingo
on our foreheads. Yeah.
Ooh. If we got a sponsor for the show, Colin, is unfortunately correct.
That's my favorite comment. I was being nice, but Colin's right.
That's past the
We should have
forehead.
Josh on the show. Hey,
Yeah.
Josh,
Past
why
the
don't you
forehead.
message us with a movie that you'd like to talk about? One movie you'd like to talk about, and we'll figure it out.
Cool.
All right.
Gots to have a computer and a microphone and a camera, though.
Cool.
So
Ask us anything. Literally anything.
Part of what we advertise, this is what, if you guys have questions for us, because I know that everybody's got things they've been dying to ask us. I don't know. Maybe not. At least you do, I'm sure.
I like to eat peanut butter off of a spoon.
Well, no, we're not volunteering weird stuff, Val. We're waiting until they ask us.
I'm giving examples.
Oh, okay.
You can ask us anything.
So as you guys know, I do a fair amount of running / jog walk. It's not really a run, but on the Disney Plus channel, on the Disney Experience show, I think the latest episode has a whole thing about Run Disney and running through the parks. It's a lot of it's kind of like a behind the scenes of them setting up and talking about it, but you get a little bit of the experience. It's pretty cool. Made me tear up a little bit. I won't lie.
Run Disney is the only thing, and part of it is because you're always posting your medals that you win and pictures from the courses that you've run doing Run Disney. It's the only thing out there that has ever made me feel like I want to run.
That's what got me
like
into
being pursued. That was another time that I might feel like I want to run.
That is exactly what got me into it. I had a friend who did the Tinkerbell half marathon, showed me the medal, and I'm like, okay, it was Tinkerbell. I'm not a huge Tinkerbell fan, so I'm like, well, that's cool. But the thought of going through the parks before they opened really interested me. And then when they announced that they were doing an Avengers event, I was like, oh, and it was Captain America's shield as the medal. It's like, crap, now I got to do it. But it got me into it, and it's continued to get me into it. And I'm trying now. I got some new shoes. I got a Hoka shoe. Brand I'd never heard of before. Really comfortable on one foot. The other foot got torn up. So I got to take it back today and figure out what's going on. But I'm trying to start preparing to possibly run a marathon one day.
Nice.
Tracy, that would be awesome.
We have two questions, guys. We have two questions.
So Tyler, I'm going to answer yours first, and then Chantrice, we're going to get to yours because I think all three of us will answer yours. Where did I get my Flamingo swag? So here's the thing with the Flamingo stuff that's kind of funny. I was not into flamingos before doing Movies That Make Us. I was buying some clothes, and there was a flamingo shirt, a blue flamingo shirt that I thought looked really nice, and it was way outside my comfort zone. And my wife said, you should definitely just wear that. Try it. Like, it would be fun. So I picked it up, and then I wore it to a recording, and Val commented on how nice it looked, and it kind of became a thing from there. And I've started collecting flamingo stuff as a result. So I've gotten it from all over. I've had, my wife has made stuff like this flamingo here. And it's become a mascot for our show, the flamingo. And this is one that she made for me. My kids, if they see anything flamingo, they get it for me. There were some flamingo tape dispensers that they picked up for me at Target, but it was really kind of just an accident. It was like on a whim, let's buy this shirt and give it a try.
And now it's become this whole thing.
Yeah, which is kind of so. Chantrice asks, if you could only watch one movie the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow, that's a painful question.
That's hard.
Whew.
I think the movie that I've watched the most out of all the movies that I own is Pride and Prejudice.
Okay.
Because it's calming and it's beautiful and it's not of my time. So it still kind of has that escapism. So I think if I could only watch one, even though I am an action film junkie, I would probably go with that because the record shows that I watch it a lot.
Okay.
So I'd probably go with that.
It's so hard. At least my answer right now would probably be Singing in the Rain. That movie it makes me feel good. It makes me happy. Just a really, really good show. That or Some Like It Hot. Dang it. Some Like It Hot is great. I'll go sing it in the rain. I'll go sing it in the rain.
This is a really hard question, Chantrice, just because it's hard to pick like one genre because it's not just that you're stuck with one movie forever, but like now you're stuck with just one genre. And sometimes like I want something serious, sometimes I want something funny, and so that would be really, really hard. Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite movie trilogy, and if you're going to be picking, I'd have to pick one. I don't think I could do it, so I'm not going to do that one, and instead go with something less serious. And I would probably say Wayne's World. That's one that I think I've watched so many times over the years. That is just my go-to. Like I'm feeling down, I'm going to put on Wayne's World, and it just makes me feel better. So
that was my introduction to Queen.
I think a lot of people got into Queen because of Wayne's World. It's Bohemian Rhapsody at the beginning, and them singing along, or at least Garth pretending to sing along.
Let me go. He's going to get car sick. We will not let you go.
Great question. Thank you, Chantrice. That's a tough one.
Go real quick. Go back. Put up Colin's comment. Talking about the Walt Disney. I actually happen to have it.
Colin.
Right there. And this flips, and it says, "Let the Wookiee win." But for those that are interested, they're doing a virtual 5K series this summer based on attractions at the park. The park medals will be the Mad Party teacups, the Space Mountain, and the Haunted Mansion. And if you do all three, then you get a special medal that's the e-ticket book from back in the day.
Which I love anything that's ticket related with Disneyland. I think that's one of my favorite nostalgic things. Not that it was ever, that was done way before my time, but
I remember it vaguely.
So Chantrice, what would you, if you could pick a movie, what would you pick? And she said you can pick the trilogy because there is a point where it all comes in the same box. So I agree with her. That's fine.
If you pick the trilogy, is you will watch it a lot fewer times. It's because it's so long. So make it through once, and that might be the end of your life, actually, as long as it is. What would you pick, Chantrice? We want to know what your pick would be. Josh says he'd pick Young Frankenstein, which is a good choice. I like Young Frankenstein. That's a fun movie.
Frankenstein.
Whoa. Favorite part of New Zealand, Tracy?
I don't know. I've never been to New Zealand. I would love to go someday. I would love to just do a tour on the Lord of the Rings. Yes. I know they have like tours that take you to where they film different things. And
I think he's getting you confused with Larry.
That's probably it. Our friend Larry Curtis.
Larry.
Yes, Larry's been to New Zealand. He's been on the set of both the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, I think. And yeah, Larry knows it really well. I would love to go. The only place I've gone outside of the country is France and the Netherlands.
Well, those aren't bad choices, though. I mean,
France didn't suck.
Up until I was 19 or 20, the only place I'd been outside of the country was Nogales, Mexico, across the Arizona border. So, yeah, I've broadened since then, fortunately. All right, Chantrice says we're going to laugh at her.
Nope.
Titanic.
I mean,
that was on like a week ago.
You can watch it over and over, and then there you go.
Yeah,
Titanic, she's a big disaster. She has an encyclopedic knowledge of the Titanic.
She's a big disaster film fan, right? Is what you're going to say because you didn't finish
disasters in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, disasters in general. Like she's fascinated by like the Black Plague and the Hindenburg and any kind of disaster. She's into it, and she will know all the facts about it. It's fascinating. It's fantastic.
So, like, this is great for you, right, Chantrice? You're living it right now with this COVID-19.
Ooh, in it now. We're all one big ship going down, baby.
That's comforting.
we should definitely shoot for movies that make us on location in New Zealand. I think that should be a goal of ours.
Yes.
And just cover Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, or just be in New Zealand. I don't even really care.
Okay, we need to do that. And then we need to do a crossover with Multiplane Podcast and broadcast from every Disney park in the world.
Yeah. Although I heard of a local YouTube outlet doing that. Yeah. And that's what started the
I feel bad for the provosts because that was a lot to plan, and it's just like the worst thing in the, like, you would never plan on a pandemic.
No,
right?
of course not. No,
Yeah.
of course not.
Like
Well,
bad weather or
Yeah.
something, but like
Disney
they
Disney Shanghai closed like 3 weeks before they were supposed to go.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
as they were going to Florida, I think Tokyo closed, and it was
Yeah.
just like one after the other. And they fortunately were able to go to Paris, Walt Disney World, and Anaheim before
Disney,
those
yeah.
closed. So Tyler says he wants to be our guide in New Zealand.
Dude, Tyler,
Well,
come along.
It was kind of your idea, so I guess we would have to bring you now.
I'd be totally down.
Tracy says she enjoys watching disasters, not live them. Now that I think most who are in disasters feel the same way, Chantrice. That makes sense. I'm with you on that.
amateur.
She can talk the talk, but she can't walk the walk.
Just
Shanghai
kidding, I
is
don't wanna
opening, Chantrice. That is true. I believe on Monday or Sunday. We talked about this on Multiplane. We don't know what day it actually is.
Yep, tickets sold out in 3 minutes. 3
Yep.
minutes.
Yep. So and it's the park. It's going to be limited capacity. It's going to be very different for the next little
Virtual
while.
queues.
Yeah.
I think
Basically,
it's going to be very different for about 5 years.
they'll send you a message on your phone when you can queue up.
Yeah.
They're actually opening up Disney Springs out in Florida, which is kind of their shopping center, and the
Yep.
restaurants. They're doing kind of soft
Kind
openings
of like
to
downtown Disney.
ease
and-
into
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll see Florida open before we see California,
Yes.
just because of
Oh,
the
yeah.
different governments there.
Yes, California, the governor of California said that he doesn't see any large gatherings of people happening until at least September.
Yeah. If they do the virtual queues, which is they've talked about that a lot, I think it will work similar to Rise of the Resistance, which we got to do back in March. And I actually, other than the fact that you've got to be in the park for that one specific ride to get on it, and you miss out on the opportunity if you don't get it in there early enough. Other than that aspect of it, I love the virtual queue. Like, I love getting the alert that it was time to go get it in the line, and we didn't have to wait for hours for this brand new ride. Everybody was able to experience it in an ideal way, I think. So I like virtual queues. I think it's
And I'd be surprised if Disneyland doesn't start doing the magic bands like they do at Walt Disney World.
yeah. Yeah,
I feel like all of this technology that we're seeing both at Disney parks, but also that is being implemented internationally for travel, and everything that we order now online, and all of the food we order, and all of the stuff that's coming, it was already like in the works.
It was in the wings,
but
yeah.
having this pandemic has pushed all of this like futuristic technology that we were going to have a little bit later on. It's pushing it to the now, because we have to have it. So things would have been this way at some point. It just we need it now. So
it'll be interesting. You mentioned the magic bands, Tracy, and I think there's a fingerprint component involved with that now, where like we have to scan it and then put your fingerprint on the reader.
They're talking about getting rid of that.
Yeah, that part will probably go away, I'm sure.
Yeah. When you buy, I think when you first go into the park on the first day, you have to do the fingerprint scan. But there has been talk, and nothing has been set up for the US, but there has been talk of removing that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And but being able, I mean, like, you can put money on the magic bands, so you can pay at restaurants. Disney's got a thing where you can order online,
which is
your phone, and then it will tell you when the food's ready and you can go pick it up. Yeah.
Best thing ever. When you're there with a large group like we were, like being able to order it all on the app, and especially because we've got picky kids, and so it's easier to just say, okay, we don't want this and whatever on the app, and then they just get it ready and tell you it's ready to go. Love it. And so I would love to see that continue to expand, stuff like that. It's just so convenient and so easy. So not that I want a pandemic to make that stuff happen, but it
you know what, though? Sometimes the world pushes us when we need a push.
Yep.
That's exactly
absolutely.
Right.
But I mean, it's interesting. I have a friend who was talking about how buffets are going to be pretty much done. And I was thinking, man, Vegas was built on the buffet. That's going to be interesting.
Vegas is going to have to be totally different.
100%. Yeah. How do you handle slot machines and poker hands? And that's going to be very interesting to see what happens with them. But
It's
even
all voice activated and everybody's just yelling at it. Spin, 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 double,
Nice.
spin.
Perfect. It'll be harder to tell the crazy people at that point.
People yelling at each other. All the people coming from New Jersey to Vegas.
Joyzy.
Spin, spin.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of things that are different, and I think there will be a lot of good changes that come as a result of all of this as well.
Has anybody checked out any of like the new movies or shows on Netflix or Amazon? There's been a couple.
I'm excited for Space Force.
Yeah, it looks hilarious. That trailer was, I mean, come on.
When the rocket explodes, he's like, how much was that? $4 million? Middle schools. That was the cost of 4 middle schools.
I
like the fact that it's not an Office clone. It's the same creators, but it doesn't look like the Talking Head documentary thing, which I think is great.
I'm okay with the Talking Head interview not being part of it. That's totally great. I love when he goes in the office and says, I need about 5 minutes and starts singing Kokomo. Like, it was awesome. And even just starting to sing, I'm like, this is hilarious. But then when he starts dancing to it and he's like,
I've got Extraction on my list. I haven't popped over to catch that one yet, but that's on my list.
Josh mentioned this one. I don't know if you guys have seen the previews for this one. Upload on Amazon Prime.
Is that the one where they're dead and they're in the virtual afterlife?
I think so, yeah. And I think it's also from the creators, one of the creators of The Office. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
But someone's tied in with The Office on that one. It looks good.
Did you guys see Community has their table read coming out that they're gonna
do?
Yeah, so I knew you guys would love that. And so I have Community and Parks and Rec in my thing, but I don't know which one to watch first. Did we ever do?
I don't think we did a poll.
I looked to try to do a poll and I couldn't do it on Facebook.
Okay, I know how to do a poll. I'll do a poll. I'll show you. You have to go into the creator. You have to go into creator to do it. I still don't know which one to watch first, so that's there.
Jake says Parks and Rec. I said Community.
Yeah,
I love them both dearly. I love them both dearly.
Tell me which one. I said on Netflix because I kind of, go through these lists of shows and you just are like, I don't know if that looks good. So this week I basically said, okay, I'm going to go to Netflix and I'm going to look at, how they have their top 10 list and I'm going to watch everything on it no matter what. Not all winners, I got to say.
Yeah.
That Too Hot to Handle show was number 3 for a while.
Yeah, I watched all of about 3 minutes of that. And went and ate some ice cream because it made me feel crappy about my body, but really good about my relationships. So
that's good. So it was part like guilt, like shame eating, and part like celebratory. Like, yes, I've got, good. Yeah. That's the best way to eat. Well, there's no
That's
wrong.
a good mix. I like that.
That wasn't even like the worst one. There's a show on there about some kids that live like in Hawaii or something, like on a beach, and there's they found a body somewhere. I'm trying to see what it's called and I can't find it right now, but that's not, that one's not great.
Stand By Me in the Tropics.
No. That's not what it's called, man. Anyway, so challenge yourself.
Yes, that's it.
You're in Hawaii, there's a bunch of kids, they find a dead body.
Right? I don't know why it's not on their list I'm looking at lists of things. But anyway, so I've just been kind of going through that list because you never know. Like, there might be something that you look at it and you think that's not really for me. And I feel like that's what Parks and Rec is that I look at it and I'm thinking, I don't really think that's going to be what I'm going to like. But then I really respect your guys's opinions.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why I wouldn't like it. So I'm trying to.
It's smart. It's sweet. It's heartfelt.
I
And
have All Day and All Night on my list to watch in the next couple of days. That's new on
what's
Netflix
that
and
one?
it looks good. So All Day and All Night, it looks like a series. It's a young man embarks on a journey of self-discovery after landing in the same prison as his father.
Oh,
And
yeah, that could be good.
it has like a lot of familiar faces of cast, but you don't know their name. Like you're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy from that one, but it's not nobody that's like super famous. But you've seen all these people in a movie. It's got Jeffrey Wright in it, who I love.
I love Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
That guy he's one of the few reasons that I'm still sticking with Westworld.
I tried, man. I tried.
I really liked the first season. I hated the second season. The third season was just kind of okay. Yeah, second season stunk. It's Christopher Nolan's brother, and it's just kind of gone off the rails. And Jeffrey Wright's kept me in there, but yeah, I've been meaning to check out the series Run on HBO with Dominic. I can't remember his name. Guy from Harry Potter who was in Star Wars: The New Trilogy.
Oh yeah. General Hunt.
Oh, it's on HBO and it's called Run. I'm gonna write that down.
Run. Basic premise is it's he and this lady were dating. Ooh, there you go, Star Wars. He and this girl are dating, and they make a deal that if either one of them texts the other and says "run," and the other person writes back and replies "run," then they would just drop everything that they're doing in their life and just go on a road trip together.
Oh, cool.
And
that's fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. So that one's on my list.
I did watch the second episode of Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian last night.
I did too.
After I accidentally showed it to you.
Yes, but I was going to watch it anyway because it was Friday, so I knew it was on.
So for those who weren't able to join us, we did the Multiplane podcast live cast yesterday, and we had sent in.
Yeah, Thor is behind me.
It's Thor. We have a celebrity.
Yeah, he's putting stuff in the picture. If you saw Baby Yoda in the frame earlier, that was also from Ben. Anyway,
sorry,
done,
Tracy.
Ben.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But we had sent in clips that we wanted to talk about to Val, and she was showing the correct time. It just happened to be from episode 2.
Yeah, it was. I
love you, Val.
I liked episode 2 quite a bit. I especially loved Dave Filoni at the end as he's explaining what Star Wars is about, and he just goes on for the last 10 minutes of the episode. And it's one of those moments where someone is just geeking out to such a high level, and what they're saying is just so good, and you're just stunned. And everybody on the table in the episode, they're just silent, just listening to him. And when he was done, I looked at my wife and said, that was the most amazing, like, geeky monologue that I've ever heard. She said, oh, I wasn't really paying attention. Well, it was really good. I promise.
Well, the thing that I loved about it is when he's done and everything's quiet, he's kind of afraid that he like bored everybody.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, sorry. It was, and everybody's incredible. Like, no, keep going.
Yeah, and it was such a great explanation of what Star Wars is really about, and it was really cool, really good.
That series is in good hands.
I agree.
Robert Rodriguez is going to direct an episode in season 2. I'm a big fan of Robert. He confirmed, posted a picture online of him and Baby Yoda. So that'll be exciting. And then I wish this would have been kept under wraps, but
I agree.
Evidently Boba Fett will be in season 2.
We have one by web.
And I love the choice of who they chose for Boba Fett. Because I mean, they could have chosen Logan.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Who played young Boba Fett, but he's supposed to be a clone.
Yep.
of Jango Fett, so it makes sense that they would have Jango Fett play older Boba Fett, and I really like that.
Yeah, I was good with that.
This is true. Tyler was the only one that had seen episode 2 at that point, and so he was. At one point, he was like, "Yeah, this is my favorite part from episode 2." I'm like, "Wait, what are you doing?" It was cool.
But yeah, I watched that last night, and that I'm with you, Jake. That final segment with Dave Filoni was just fantastic.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to hang out with him. He seems fun.
I agree. Like, all of the directors are very impressive, but he's quickly becoming my favorite through these shows, just because he's kind of the guy who just like really loved this, and he got into animation and everything, and now he's doing these live action, and I don't know, he just comes from a different background from the rest of them, and it's just really cool. He's like the super geek that like made it. You know what I mean? It's just they're not.
He's kind of the George Lucas 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and then Monday we're going to be doing our regular episode, but we're going to be doing it at time. Monday night at 6:30, we're going to be live on here, plus recording our episode, and we're going to be talking about
Three Amigos. Oh, sorry.
It's video lag.
I thought you were going to do like.
Oh yeah. It should be a lot of fun. This is a great movie, and obviously a classic. I think you've got 3 powerhouse comedic actors in it, and Steve Martin, Martin Short, Chevy Chase. Like, they
at the height of their creativity too.
Yes, I mean, these guys. I don't know. It's hard to think of anybody that matches their talent today in what they do, and their timing and everything. So it's a great movie. It'll be a lot of fun to talk about.
I think we should cast the movie because there's 3 of us. Like, which part would we play out of the amigos? Like, which amigo would Jake be? Which amigo?
Dusty Bottoms.
We all know which amigo I would be. I mean,
oh, of course. I would be honored to be Dusty Bottoms just because the name is fantastic.
Yes, that's Monday evening. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and so you guys will want to definitely tune back in for that Monday evening. We'll post it up there so that we can see, so you guys can know when it's going to be on and come back and join us. It'll be a lot of fun. We're really excited about it. There may be a sing-along involved, I'm sure.
Oh,
Buttercup.
May.
Val, your mic went a little quiet.
Yeah.
There will be.
Yeah, there will definitely be a sing-along. It will be a lot of fun. There are just a plethora of things to talk about with this movie.
Do you know what a plethora is?
Could you say we had a plethora of topics for Monday?
Could it be that you are upset that the Lady Carmen is not giving you attention, and so you're taking it out on me?
I may even wear a sweater for this episode.
A sweater!
I'm going to be wearing my pajamas.
Val will be in her pajamas. It's close to Val's bedtime at 6:30, and we know, and it's fine because she keeps us entertained in the morning.
Yeah, if Val's up past 7:45, she's considered a night owl.
I like this idea because the Three Caballeros is one of my favorite cartoons.
So I was mentioning, funny story with Three Caballeros. I was mentioning to my wife that we were going to do Three Amigos for our next episode, and Ben was sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, I like that show," and I'm like, "You've seen Three Amigos?" He's like, 3.5.
Sammy said the same thing.
And he was like, "Yeah, it's the one with Donald and his 2 friends," and I'm like, "Nope, that's Three Caballeros." I'm glad you like made that connection that they were both like. Anyway, so it was kind of funny. So we had a good laugh about that.
Can I give a little tease about something we're really excited for because I'm not good at keeping secrets at all?
Well, your volume's a little low.
Yeah, your volume's low. Yeah.
kind of dropped out
This
there.
mic you gave me doesn't like to work all the time.
I mean, we can still hear you. It's just a little
How
quiet.
much fun I have when we do it all in person.
So the mic that you gave me that hooks up to the
There we go.
USB, this mic,
There we
it-
go.
the little thing that hooks into the mic, it gets loose.
Mm.
So like, I don't know. Anyway, so
Yeah, right.
we have in July, we are going to be doing Action Movie Month in July. And to
Mhm.
kick off Action Movie Month, we have a special guest, which I'm not going to say who the special guest is.
So excited,
However,
though.
the special guest has been in almost every, what would you say, the last 5 Avenger movies?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like, you want us to name the last 5 Avenger movies? Like,
No, but when we looked at his list of movies,
yeah.
because he was in Avengers Endgame, he was in Captain Marvel, he was in, like, I think the last 5 in that row, that segment, he was in.
Yeah.
So we have, and I just said a he, which I didn't mean to say, but we're
Spoiler.
going to have a special guest on the show that's been in a lot of action movies, not just Marvel movies, but yes, he's been in a lot of Marvel movies, a lot of action movies, and a new movie that's on Netflix, which is an action movie. And he's going to come on our show and actually talk about who he's worked with, the movie sets he's been on, and what he does and how he does it. And we're super excited.
Going to be so cool.
It's going to be really, really cool. I'm very excited about this. And I think it's great that this individual has agreed to be on our show. I think
It's
it'll
a
be
big
great.
deal, yo.
It is.
Yep.
It's about time people realize that we're a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
I mean, I've known it for years.
Yeah.
that we are a big deal.
Yes.
Well, all right, guys. We don't have any more questions coming in, so apparently you guys know everything about us that you want to know. This was your one opportunity. We will
All
never
right.
answer any questions again about ourselves or anything. You know,
Never again.
all right. We should all dress as Klingons at some point with our giant foreheads.
You're signing off. This is how we sign off from now on. This is
This
how we say hello and goodbye
The
because we
forehead
can't
club,
shake
the
your
triple F.
hand. When we
triple
see you,
FC.
we'll just be like,
Thank you
weird.
guys for joining us. Thank you for the question.
Join
We
us
are weird.
Monday.
Join us Monday
night.
6:30 p.m. We will be here on Facebook again. This video will be posted to YouTube, so you'll want to subscribe to that as well. And we'll put the audio out there on our iPad. Oh my gosh, on our podcast. See
And
fourth thing
Val is
will
going to post pictures of her as David Bowie.
be perfect. All right, guys.
I'm
Thanks for
dressing
listening.
my boyfriend up as Bret Michaels, by the way.
Perfect.
Yes.
He doesn't
Yep.
know it yet.
Well, I'll be keeping an eye on Instagram to see all of that, all those shenanigans. All right, guys. We'll see you later. See you next week.
Bye.